Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode review. This time we will be reviewing episode 36 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, the duel between twins Ranze and Rinnosuke. And this episode was just... Man, this was one of the funniest episodes, in my opinion, that we have seen in a very long time. Obviously, comedy is a major trope in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. I mean, it's a bigger trope than it's ever been in any of the previous Yu-Gi-Oh! shows. You know, this we knew. This is nothing new to us going into episode 36. But the way that this episode was done, I thought was hilarious. It was a Ranze-focused episode, and Rinnosuke, who got some love in this duel. The duel actually ended in a draw, which is the first draw/no result that we have seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's thus far. So that was pretty cool, and it makes sense because it's twins dueling each other. They use the same decks, they have the same strategies, so seeing it end in a draw really shouldn't have been all that surprising. But Ranze in this episode was obviously shown off as one of the biggest simps in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe that we have ever seen up until this point. Really just falling in love with any guy that treats her with any sort of respect and kindness. And what I absolutely loved about this episode is I think we all know a Ranze in real life. I know quite a few of them, guys and girls, that whenever they are shown any sort of kindness by the sex or gender that they are interested in, they immediately fall heads over heels for that person. Like, this is such a relatable trope that I have seen it throughout my entire life, where there is a different guy or a different girl in someone's life every other week. And it's like, all right, you know, maybe we should calm down here. And I think the best part about it is as she's talking about all the, you know, guys that she's in love with and all the men that she's, you know, stalked and imagined a future with, Gakuto thinks it's the most noble thing because he does not realize what the actual context is. And I think Yuga starts to kind of put it together where, you know, Gakuto, I think at one point says something like, oh my god, she's amazing to the Sogetsu style. And Yuga is like, is she? Or I think he said something about the duel being intense, and he was like, I don't know, is it? Like, clearly there is something more going on that Gakuto never picked up on. But even Yuga, when she talked about the journal entries, Yuga was like, she's kept track of that many rush duels? Oh my god, that is so impressive, even though she's talking about the amount of guys that she has kept journals on. Yuga being one, and that's basically the conundrum that she's in this episode. Tazaki Galliant is in extremely bad shape. He has tunneled through basically the entire city of Goha, I feel like. Remember, he tunneled all the way to Yuga's laboratory to stop Caterpillar, and then he tunneled all the way back to this underground lair to get to where Schwer and Dove were, and he wanted to duel Yuga's team to try and stop them, and he just is unable to. The preview made it look like he was being thrown down the stairs, but he really just collapsed. I actually think it would have been funnier if, for whatever reason, Schwer or that Dove pushed him down the stairs, but it makes more sense for him to just collapse due to exhaustion. And he approaches Ranze in a state of delirium and thinks that she is Asana. And so obviously he treats her with a lot of respect, thinking that she's Asana. And so Ranze takes it the wrong way because she's one of those people, and it's not an unrealistic trope. Again, I know people in real life that are like this, who falls heads over heels for Galliant instantly and says, all right, I'm going to duel in Galliant's place. And Yuga and everyone are like, excuse me, what? Galliant was really willing to put his money where his mouth is. He said, you know, I'm going to leave the cavalry club if I lose to you. Like, I'm putting everything on the line. And so Ranze dueled in his place. Schwer was just like, yeah, we'll accept it. Why not? That's basically what this show is anyway. No shock there. So Ranze, who's on Yuga's team, is dueling all of a sudden for Galliant and the Machine Cavalry Club. And Rinnosuke, who, in my opinion, Rinnosuke was the MVP in this episode. I don't know if he's been such kind of an irrelevant background character. This was a phenomenal episode for him. Just the comedic moments where he called his sister a huge embarrassment. and just the inner monologuing that he did to try and snap Ranze out of it. And then, of course, what happens to him at the end. And, they're twins, so they're going to share a lot of similar tendencies where Roman, holds his arm and is like, thank you for stepping up there, Rinnosuke, and he falls completely in love with Roman, and Ranze is able to experience it from the other point of view, the point of view that her brother has been experiencing all of her moments from. So that was a fun little twist there at the end where Rinnosuke just completely fell in love with Roman because she showed him kindness. And it's just so funny to me because there are legitimately people like that. I know I'm still friends to this day with people that are like that, where if someone of the opposite gender or same gender, whatever interest you have, shows you any sort of kindness, they immediately take that as, oh my God, I think they like me. I'm going to start picturing my future with them. I'm going to start planning my life with them. And it's like, whoa, calm down. And so just seeing that trope play out in a Yu-Gi-Oh episode, I mean, it was hard at times to even take a step back and say, all right, we're still watching a Yu-Gi-Oh anime, because sometimes I'm not even sure with this show what the heck we're watching. And just seeing that trope again play out over the entire episode, I thought was great. The comedic moments were really, really funny. And Rinnosuke, again, just circling back to him, was really, really cool. As for a plot thing, it didn't really move anything forward. They got to this really cool, interesting kind of checkpoint area where obviously Schwer and Galliant, until he fell victim to exhaustion, were going to try and stop Yuga before they reach their final goal. Obviously, Schwer and his dove, I guess, are going to be stepping in the next episode to try and duel. So we're going to see how they're going to do in their debut. I'm a little nervous for that, and I'm hoping that Rook does not, lose his first duel to a bird, because that's how it seems the duel's going to play out in terms of who is dueling who, Rook versus the bird, and not actually Schwer. So, we'll see how that goes. But this episode was one of probably my favorite comedic episodes, for not moving the plot along at all, and for being a pretty mediocre duel, which that's the thing, and I haven't really touched on that recently. The dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s for me is starting to feel like a weak point. I feel like when maximums are not involved in the duel themselves, I really just kind of look for the ace monsters. I love the chants. I love the fact that the chants are back, and I love that there are a good amount of unique play styles, but rush dueling as a whole is starting to feel a little repetitive. I give the show a pass because obviously they are trying to establish a brand new game, and so I understand that, and so it's not going to be a major point of criticism for me, but I did just want to note that because I've seen a few more people saying that, and I don't disagree with that criticism, that rush duels are starting to feel kind of like a weak point in the show. And for me, they are starting to feel a little repetitive and lackluster outside of the main ace and outside of when maximums are involved. And maximums obviously are not involved most of the times. So I'm really just looking for the ace monsters, those big chants, and that's it. And the fact that it's always tribute summons and there's not really anything that has spiced things up now in 36 episodes outside of the 3 maximum duels that we've gotten. It's been a little And, this episode, I thought the duel was okay. I liked the draw. The draw was kind of a unique result. But other than that, there were your comedic moments here and there. There was nothing that really advanced the plot forward. So, it was a good episode for Ranze and Rinnosuke, though. I think it was good to kind of world build a little bit, expand on their characters, give their characters more focus, and I'm never going to complain with the side characters of any Yu-Gi-Oh! Show getting a dueling-focused episode, because we learn a lot more about character development and character backstory through those duels, so this was good for the twins. But other than that, I don't really have too much more to say. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm really excited to hear what you thought about this episode, because again, it was truly a bizarre episode. So I'm really interested to see if it landed for you. I think comedy is very subjective. Comedy and music are two of the most subjective things, in my opinion. And so I'm interested to see when these comedic episodes happen, if they land for you, if they don't. Like, for instance, the Schrodinger episode did not land for me at all. I loved, obviously, the cat references in that, but that was really it. But this was an episode, comedy-wise, there were a few times where I almost, spit out my water as I was, watching this episode. I really, really liked this episode from a comedy perspective. Probably one of the funnier episodes that Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s has done, in my opinion. But let me know if you thought the same, and let me know all your thoughts on episode 36 and 7s as a whole down below. Thank you all so much for watching. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Anime Kaput, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons, XZ's Lover 104, Pegasus Seiya, and Stella Sky. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. You guys are amazing, and I would not be able to do this without all of you. Thank you to everyone who just watches my videos, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this as well. I will talk to you all down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.